Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for popping in here. If you are new here, please like and subscribe for me. If you find this content helpful, then hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out in the next video. Comment below with your thoughts or topics you'd like me to cover, and check out my website, consultingninja.tech. With that out of the way, let's get right to it. The top 3 reasons why you should not store files in a database are performance, scalability, and cost. I'm going to get to an example, but before I get there, I just want to touch on each of these briefly. Databases are optimized for querying and searching structured data. They're not meant for handling unstructured data like files. Storing files directly in a database can cause performance issues because it will slow the database down and affect its responsiveness. As the size of those files increases, so does the amount of storage space required to store them in a database. That makes the database more difficult to scale and will require more expensive hardware upgrades to accommodate the increased storage requirements. In contrast, hint hint, file systems are designed to scale with ease. Lastly, databases are always more expensive than file systems in terms of licensing, hardware, and maintenance costs. Storing files directly in a database will increase those costs significantly, especially for larger files, as the database will require more storage space, processing power, and memory to handle that additional data. So what do you do instead? Well, I've already hinted at it several times. Store your files right in a file system. That's what a file system is for. It's what it's efficient at. Let's get right to that example. I have a skeleton application here. How do we take input from a user? Well, we do that with a form. That's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give this example using images, but this can be any file you'd like. Before we build the form out, let's go ahead and do our scripting in our component here. We need 4 variables. Let's make one called file input, one called files, one called picture, and one called picture data. We're also going to need a function, and we can call this parse base64. This is going to take an image, in this case, or a file, whatever, depending on what you're doing. I'm calling this image since the example that I'm using is going to use images. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the information from a file that's opened, and we're going to parse it out to its base64 format, and we're going to save that right to our file system. The way that we do that is, first thing we need to do is we're going to fire up a file reader. So const reader equals new file reader. And now we have a new file reader. So we do a reader dot read as data URL. This is how you read blob and glob data. So image, we're going to pass that image to read as data URL. Then we're going to take the reader and do an onload and use the event from that in a function. And what we're going to do is take picture and assign that to e target question mark to make sure it's there, result. And this is the result of reading that file. And then we're going to parse out the data. Now, we can console.log this later, but if you were to spit this out, what you would see is that the file comes in a couple of pieces. There's the name, and then there's the actual data after. That's why we have the picture and picture data. The picture is going to be just the name, and the picture data is going to be the actual file information. So we split this by comma, and then once we have those 2 pieces, we can take picture data and assign it to data sub 1, the actual file data. Now that we have that function written, we can make use of it. And the way that we're going to do that, again, is with the form. We can get rid of this list. Let's go ahead and make a form with a method of post and an action of question mark / upload. Let's call this upload image. Now, this same exact process would work exactly the same if you were using React as your front end and Node Express, for instance, as your back end. You just would set up your JSX to contain similar logic, and you would pass that data back to your Express backend and parse it out as we're going to do in a form action. We're just using SvelteKit as our backend. but all of this would work the same if you were using React and Express. I do have a couple of styles written. I'm not going to do all the styling here. It's just going to take additional time. All of this, as usual, will be available in my repository, so go ahead and check that out. The link is in the description of this video. I'm just going to go ahead and put these classes on here, just so that it doesn't look terrible. We're going to do a little bit of conditional rendering here. So if there is picture data set, then what we're going to do is we're going to actually let people preview the image. And we're going to do that like this. So if there's picture data in that variable, then we're going to render out a p tag that says preview. That will let people preview the image. And then let's give this a class of preview as well. And then we need the actual image tag. So img class of image. And all I'm doing in the style here for that is setting the size so that it's not so big. And this is going to be the picture. Alt, we can just say file to upload. That way, if the image is not there, then we'll get that text. And here, let's make an else. Else, we're just going to render an image tag with an ID of no image, because there's nothing there if there's nothing in picture data. And the alt, we can just copy this. That will be the same. All right. Now, here's where things start to get where people might not understand what's going on or might not have seen this before. But we're going to have an input here, as I pointed out in the thumbnail of this video. We're going to have an input with a type of hidden. And what this is going to do is the user is not going to be able to see this, but this is where it's going to actually store the file data itself, and this is how we'll access it in our backend. So this is, if you're using Express, this is the input name that you're going to be looking for in your form in order to parse out the actual file information. So what we're going to do here is type equals hidden bind value to picture data. And then we need to give this the name picture data as well, so that we can, again, parse that data out in our backend. Just like that. Now we need a second input. What this input is going to be the file input. We're going to bind this as an element itself to file input. And then we're going to access it in our buttons by using the onClick and then accessing the element directly, so that we can click this element, this input, from a button. This will allow us to create our own buttons rather than relying on the browser default, which is not very pleasant looking. So let's go ahead and do this. So this is going to be a file input with a class of hidden. This will make a little bit more sense as we get just a little bit further. This also is going to handle the picture name. Name equal to picture name as well. Type equal file. Accept. In here you can say what files you're going to accept. For this, we're going to have PNG and JPEG. And then we also need to bind files to this so it can make use of that. And what we're going to do is on change, every time that this changes, we're going to run an anonymous function that does parse base64 and pulls out files sub 0. Now this example, we're only going to make use of one file. So if a user selects multiple, it's just going to grab the first file out that they selected, and that's what's going to get parsed and previewed. If you needed to make this work with multiple files, then what you would do is pass all the files in and split them out one at a time, essentially doing the same exact logic, but just in a loop. All right, now outside of that, outside of the input, but inside of that same div, what we're going to have is another piece of conditional rendering. So if picture data, and we can go ahead and make the else and the closing if. So if there's picture data, then we're going to render a button with a type of button. And what we're going to do on click is we're going to trigger the file input click. So this is the button that's going to be actually controlling the clicking of the actual input. This is going to allow us, again, to style the button how we'd like rather than being forced to use the default file input button, which is, again, pretty ugly. File input.click. And if there's something there, then what we want to say for text is change. So we have the change button. That is going to allow us to change what file is there if we choose not to upload it. But if we do want to upload that picture after previewing, then we're going to need a button of type submit. And this is what's going to actually trigger the form submission and send all of this information to our backend, whatever that is. In this case, again, I'm going to be using SvelteKit, but you could do the same exact thing using Node.js Express or any other backend that you'd like. If we don't have any data in picture data, then we're just going to render out a button that does the exact same thing, except for the button will say upload. All right, let's give that a save and check out what we have here. All right, so let's take a look. We upload, let's pick an image and hit OK. And there is our preview. And if we hit change, we can change the picture to something else. And if we hit upload, well, then there's no action. So let's go ahead and make the action now. In order to do that in SvelteKit, all you need is a plus page.server.js. So as we get into here, the very first thing I want to point out in the back end of this code is that we need to make use of FS. Now, you don't want to use the synchronous versions because those will block your event loop. Your program won't be able to run unless that synchronous method has finished, and so you don't want to use the regular FS methods. You want to use the ones available from FS promises. That way we can just run them and not worry about blocking the event loop. Now we need to get to our actual backend. We're going to need some actions. Well, we're going to need one action, and it's going to be upload image. And this is going to be an async function. We're going to need to pull out the request. And the way that we get our form data with SvelteKit is by doing a form await request.formData. Now we have access to all of our form data, and we can pull out each piece one at a time. So picture name is going to be form.get picture name, like that. If there's nothing there, then we'll just give an empty string. This is going to be a very basic implementation here, just to show you guys how to do this. I'm not including any types or anything here. I want to keep it basic for you. I've had some requests to leave some of the TypeScript stuff off, so that is what I'm doing. So now that we have the actual picture name and the actual data, how we write that to the file system is also really straightforward. We just do await fs.writeFile. You pass in first a directory, and we're going to need to use some string literal concatenation here, so static. This is the standard directory when you're using a SvelteKit backend. And inside of here, we're going to do a picture name.toString. That way we can store our file inside of static as the picture name. And then we need to pass in the actual picture data. Just like that. And if you'd like, you can console.log Let's go ahead and save that. And now let's run this. Let's pick a file, upload, and I'm just going to pick any file, doesn't matter. Hit upload, and if I go look in my project now, here you can see that file that we just wrote. There it is. If you wanted to serve this inside of your application, you can do that from the static folder, since that's what it is for. Let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to upload this one, and now inside of static, there is that second image, and you can keep going as many times as you'd like. Now, one thing I'll point out here is that this is a very straightforward example to show you the general concepts here, but you are going to want to wrap all of this in a try catch. Make sure that there's not any errors with writing to the file system that you would want to catch. Make sure that you handle those errors in your application. But this is the general idea. We have a form where we're parsing out the actual file information and storing that in a hidden input. That is what passes the actual file data to our backend. Our backend takes that data, pairs it with the name, and writes it to our file system. Now you have successfully stored a file on your file system where it's meant to be. You could also send this to another place. If you had external storage or you had cloud storage, you could certainly do that right from here. You also could do that from your Express backend as well. So there it is. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Pass this video around, share it with anyone that you think would find it helpful, and as always, have a great day.